Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, take a look at this gorgeous sunset. Headed home from work and thought I'd share that with you. Hang on one second. Turn the aperture down on the camera so you can see how it really looks. It's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Just wanted to share that with you as I ride on home. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's a beautiful Thursday afternoon, and we're gonna go see Justice League. I bought tickets a couple weeks ago, so Chris and I are gonna go check it out. So because I bought 3D tickets, for every 2 3D tickets you bought through Regal, you get this guy for free. So it's pretty neat. I'm not usually a big fan of 3D movies, but I figure it'd be worth the sacrifice. It's the next day. We were supposed to go see Justice League last night, and that kind of bombed. So I filmed a little bit last night after all this went down. It was kind of frustrating, but the more I thought about it, you know, even though it's frustrating, we lost almost some time. The theater made good on it. So basically what happened was I wanted to go see it. So whether or not that pop deal happened, I was going to go see it on opening night. I would have just went and saw regular, because I normally don't do 3D because I wear glasses and sometimes it's a pain in the butt. So, but because they were giving away the exclusive Flash pop, I was like, okay, well, I'll go see it 3D and we'll be able to get one of the pops. So we go in, and first off, they're trying to be like quiet about the pops, and so they weren't telling people, like, even if they were coming up and buying it, people had to specifically be like, hey, you know, there was an advertisement about getting a pop vinyl with this. And so like it got to the point like they had just, in my opinion, kind of shadily not told enough people that we started to be like, hey, you're gonna go see this in 3D? Did you buy 2 tickets? Go get your pop vinyl. You know, because they're cool, they're neat looking. I showed it last night, but I don't know. So anyway, so we go in and we sit down and we get ready for the movie, and right off the bat, some of the trailers were supposed to have a little bit of 3D in them. Well, you couldn't see them through the glasses. They were fuzzy even with the glasses on. So glasses on, glasses off, the screen was fuzzy. So I'm like, maybe it's just these trailers, maybe they weren't meant to be in 3D, and so that's what's goofing up. So we sit there and you get into the movie, and I kid you not, you're not even 3 seconds into the movie and you've got a migraine because you can't, your eyes think something's wrong because the screen's blurry, fuzzy, through the glasses, without the glasses. So a few people get up and walk out, and then I get up and follow because, you know, you can't see anything that's going on. So we get out there and we let them know what's going on. They're like, okay, well, we're gonna go reset the projector and see if that fixes it. So keep in mind, this movie starts at 6 o'clock. So when they reset the projector, they restarted over from the beginning of the previews. So I'm like, okay, and somebody's like, can you get past the previews so that the movie started, that way we don't have to see these all over again? And they were like, sure. So that took them like 30 minutes to get past 10 minutes worth of previews. And then even then they showed some of the previews, and then some of the previews they showed the second time around weren't the same previews that we saw the first time around. So like one guy was like, I really appreciate you guys showing the 50 Shades of Grey trailer while I've got my 6-year-old here to see Justice League. So that was kind of funny. And then there were points where they would just shut it off and it would stay off the projector or whatever, you know, for 5 or 10 minutes. And at one point I was like, hey guys, I got a writing degree. You want me to write the script? I see a guy here in a Flash shirt. He can be the Flash. Who wants to be Batman? You know, who wants to be Superman? So finally they get it restarted. They're like, okay, we got it fixed. They get it restarted, and it's like 6:45. So it's been 45 minutes. They get it restarted. Same thing, still blurry. So I go out there and I'm like, look, it's, you know, we can't see anything and it's causing people to have headaches. And so they're like, well, you know, we're working on it. If you want to hang out and go to the 7:30 or the 7:30 or 8 o'clock show, I can't remember which one it was, then you know, you can go see that one. Well, the thing is you paid for 3D, you expect to see it in 3D, because those tickets are about $5 more than a regular ticket. So I'm like, no. I'm like, I wanted to see it at 6 o'clock, so it was over by, you know, at the latest 9:30 if it's a 3.5 hour movie. I was like, no. So they refunded the money for the price of the tickets, and they gave us 2 free tickets to come back to any showing of any movie at any time. So that was cool. And we ended up walking out with 2 copies of the Flash Pop. So I've got 2 of the exclusive unmasked Barry Allens from Justice League. But, you know, when I was leaving the theater, I recorded something. It was so dark you couldn't see anything. So I was like, I'm just gonna continue yesterday's into today. So other than that, you know, we hit GameStop in River City Marketplace over there near the airport. That place is just a mess. Like, there's stuff everywhere. You can barely get around. It's just not well, like, kept up. It's kind of claustrophobic feeling. In fact, I stopped by a GameStop on the way home from work over on Lim Turner because I've played the Pokemon games since I was little. I played them when I was really young. And then once the kids were born, I skipped a few generations of the games, but my son's back into it, and so I've kind of picked them up again and started playing them again. So I went over to see about getting a copy of one of the new games that came out. Because when we went to Game Store in River City, they're like, oh yeah, it releases at midnight if you want to hang out. And I was like, I don't want to hang out. And I was like, or Kristen was like, well, do you want to hang out and get it? And I was like, no, I got to be up at 3:15 to get ready for work. I was like, I don't want it that bad. So I popped over to Lim Turner to see if they had any copies that weren't on reserve, you know, because they pre-sell the games usually. And so sometimes, you know, they may have 30 copies, but they're already pre-sold, so they can't sell them. So I popped over there to see if they have it. That store was 100 times more kept up and immaculate, and I think they were having an inspection too. I think there was like a district manager in there, and like I felt bad because like I'm in here like walking around, I'm like, this store is freaking gorgeous compared to River City. I was like, oh, it's so nice. And I can hear this manager like, or this, I think it's probably a district manager, who's like, well, you know, you got to do this, and this is wrong. Where's this? Why don't you have this up? Where are these shelves? And the guy, the poor manager of the store, he's like, well, I didn't get these. This is all I have. This is what I did with it because that's all I had. And so that's what and I could tell he's flustered, and his associate's like walking around like make sure everybody's got everything, and he's stocking stuff. So I checked out and I picked up a copy of the game, and I looked at him, I was like, man, I wanted to tell you, this store is immaculate. I was like, I was in the River City store last night, and it was so crowded that I felt claustrophobic. You couldn't walk anywhere with almost hitting stuff. I was like, all the shelves were kind of strewn everywhere. You know, when GameStop does a clearance section, their clearance was just piled into a bin, whereas like this group, like their clearance was separated out. It was stacked up nicely on the shelves, you know, and I was like, this store looks really, really good. And the guy reached behind him and tapped his manager, and he's like, hey, this guy wanted to let you know that the store looks really good. It looks immaculate. And I was like, yeah, dude. I was like, it's super clean. Everything's easy to find. He's like, I really appreciate it. He goes, I can't wait till I've got everything, you know, fully the way it should be, because then it should be even better. I'm like, I don't know if you can get better, but go for it. So I felt bad for them because I could tell he was under a lot of stress. And I've been in that situation because when I was younger, I worked for Books A Million. And I was a cafe manager at one point, and I remember getting those, you know, we'd get the district manager would come in, the area manager would come in, and then in some points we'd get like a corporate walkthrough where it's like 15 people coming in to inspect everything. And I remember there were times where like they'd walk in and be like, this shelf isn't alphabetical, and they would pull all the books off the shelf and put them on a cart, and you'd have to redo the entire section. So I definitely remember how stressful that kind of stuff is. So yeah, I was like, oh. So I felt bad for him. I don't even know how we got to this part of the conversation. We were having a conversation about Justice League. So, anyways, my hope is to maybe take the kids tomorrow or Sunday. I know there is this thing Jacksonville has, like, called Farm Fresh, or it's a bunch of, like, locally owned and operated farms, and you pay, like, $20 for your car, and you can visit all the farms, and each of the farms have something different, you know, as far as, like, kiddie rides or kiddie things to do, and, you know, and they sell, like, fresh vegetables and stuff, and there's one, like, 3 miles from my house, so Kristen was saying she wanted to go do that, I think it's on Sunday, so we might go do that depending on what all happens, or, you know, how this weekend goes. I know tomorrow I've got to make a run to the city dump and take our trash and stuff, so I think I've said it before, we don't have a trash service. I just load it up once every 2 weeks and take it. So the only bad part of that is either our dog or a possum got into our trash bag, so I got to go home and clean up trash out of the yard and then load up the truck so it's ready to go first thing in the morning, and then I'll ride up to the city dump and drop it off, and then I'm gonna go home and probably do nothing depending on how long it takes me to get home and load the trash, and then pick up everything. I may mow grass tonight because I haven't mowed grass in about a month. It's not that high, but it needs to be done just to kind of give it a good cleanup, especially before Thanksgiving, because I don't know if we're going to do it at our house or my grandmother's house, so we'll see. But just thought I wanted to share that Justice League experience, and because I know I talked about doing like a car ride review for Justice League, and I definitely am going to do it once I finally see it. So, but just, you know, that may not be for a little bit longer than normal. Other than that, I did, like I said, I got this pop socket and it fits on the back of your phone. This thing's awesome. It's so much easier to hold my phone and try and record, you know, because it's between my fingers. I don't necessarily have to hold like a tight grip on my phone. I don't feel like I'm constantly about to drop my phone. I can do all kinds of crazy things because I've got a good handle on my phone. So anyways, if you don't have one and you film with your phone, they're pretty nice. The only bad thing I have to say is it's become like my new fidget spinner for me, you know, because like I fidgeted with it all day. It causes my phone to be raised up off the desk, and my phone spins really well on it. So I've had to be like, stop playing with the phone. Stop playing with the pop socket. You're gonna break it. So, anyways, mine actually has a little Charmander on it. So I got a Pokemon themed one. I was gonna go with that or a plain black one. So, anyways, I'm headed home. Gonna get all that work done. Maybe get the kids involved to help me. So, talk to you later. Trash is all picked up, loaded in the truck. I did spaghetti meatballs for dinner. Kids are eating, waiting on Kristen to get home. I'm gonna go chill out, watch a movie or something. Till tomorrow.